Good evening, ladies. I know a lot of you couldn't make it this evening to our live Zoom call, so we are recording this evening for everyone to catch up later. Tonight, as I mentioned, we have got Janine McDonald, from Clear the Clutter Now. Excuse me, it's been a long day. Janine is an absolute clearing the clutter queen, is all I can best say. She is the lady that you need to call if you're wanting to declutter your home, and she's the lady to call if you need help and advice on that area at all. Janine, do you want to take it away and just let us know how you got into this?
Yeah.
You know, why, and give us a bit of a background.
Yeah, certainly. I've not always done this. I only set up earlier this year, just before lockdown. Before that, I was a bank manager and I was made redundant in 2014. And I had long-term health problems, a lot of mental health issues, depression, anxiety. And I struggled. I did really, really struggle. And I struggled with packing things away. And that's how things manifested as I was going along to do things. And I'd got to the situation where there was stuff in the corner of the room, not loads of stuff, but one half of my brain was going, it's only going to take 5 to 10 minutes. Come on, get it done. The other half was bullying it, going, you're moving nowhere. You are not picking anything up. And unfortunately, that side won. And I got to the position where we were fortunate enough at that point to have a spare room. And it was like office slash washroom. So we had the ironing board in there as well. And it got to the stage where you could just open the door. And the floor was covered, the desk was covered, and obviously I couldn't work in there. And it was just so depressing, and it didn't help my depression or anxiety at all. Anyway, one day I did manage, obviously it was a really good day, and I blitzed it. And the ironic thing is that was at the bottom of the pile on the floor, I found something. And it was a duster. So underneath all the crap that was there was a duster. And it's like, what on earth? And I started by saying to myself, right, just 3 things. I'd go into a room, just 3 things, just pick 3 things up and put them away. And then I found myself doing this in each room I went into. And then I found myself, I would go upstairs and maybe I wasn't going into the spare bedroom, I was going into another room, but I would still go into the spare bedroom and do just 3 things. And that was my little mantra to myself. And as this year approached, and I just thought, right, okay, I'm feeling strong enough in myself now to actually do something. I did not want to go back into financial services. I didn't want something where I was, in effect, bringing work home with me, and decided to go on a free business course that had been set up. And I came away and I was buzzing. And in that time, I'd set up the Facebook page, and I'd set up a website as well, just a very, very simple website. And I came away, I was just like, yes, I'm going to do this. And I was finding that I was going into friends' houses, I was going to visit them, and they're going, oh, this is before I started, and just going, oh, I just need to sort this bookcase out, or I just need to sort out the kids' drawer. And I'd be like, right, come on, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's get it done. But I couldn't do it for myself. And I've heard a lot of people say this in the, if you have a builder, for instance, that if you go into their home, it's never finished.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit that way with me. My house is not perfect. It's getting there. Well, it will never be perfect, but it's getting tidier.
Yeah.
And the stronger I feel mentally, the more I can put into it. And I had support as well. A lady used to come around once a week and like just give me a hand, give me a bit of motivation. And what I find is that I can really, really do that for other people. And I don't want to see other people struggling and going through the difficulties of, because it's I mean, a lot of it is not clutter, but it's, people say, oh, I've not got enough storage. Storage isn't always the solution, because then you just push more stuff into it.
Yeah.
You need less stuff. If the kids have got less toys, they play with them more. And how many times do you go in your wardrobe? So you've got a double wardrobe. Oh, I'll wear that again. I'll wear that again. And this
Yeah.
side is never touched.
It's always just like
It's
a
always the
capsule
same. Yeah,
wardrobe, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. But it's not a capsule wardrobe because you've got
It's
loads
got,
of
yeah.
it, but you just use the capsule of it. And I try and get across to clients on the mindset that it's not getting rid of stuff. It's, some of it's passing things on for others to enjoy. And very much within my business, I will recycle, repurpose, upcycle, redistribute as much as I possibly can. So as little goes in the bin as possible, because someone's unwanted items, someone else may be seeking them, which is a match.
Absolutely. So how do you do that then? Say for instance, I had, I don't know, some clothes and just some little objects of furniture. What do you do?
Okay, so furniture, there's a few things you could do.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an item that you think actually it's not that sturdy, but could you use it in the shed or the garage for storing tools, gardening stuff, things like that? Or like where I am, I was volunteering at a charity, and they were helping addiction, people who were recovering from addiction. And they had a charity shop that sold furniture. But behind the shop was a workshop. And all those people who had gone through so far of their process, if you will, were then taught new skills in upcycling, mending, and repurposing furniture.
That's fantastic.
That then got sold in their charity shop, which then raised money to help support, to run counselling sessions and to fund accommodation for these people to go through the course. How many people are benefiting from something that you think, actually, it's a bit broken, I'm going to chuck it away?
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
You know,
Have you still got that
yeah.
link there then? Is it something?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I still do it. They've been closed all through lockdown. So I was there previously. I helped with the upcycling side and shop layout. But it's things like, I found I'm a bit of a skip hunter at times. Not quite the thing to say when you're decluttering. But I found a bicycle wheel on the side of the road, and I'd walked past it for 3 days, and I just kept thinking, we can do something with that. And it became a table.
That is
Put it in
just
the
something that
car.
I completely thought of there. I thought, yeah, I bet that was made into a table, some bit of glass on the top.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, there's some fantastic people there with so many different skills and inspiration from what they've got and how they go about things. And then for clothes, there's lots of things you can do. You can hold a clothes swap with friends if you're similar sizes. Obviously, it doesn't work if you're at one end of the spectrum and the other. But you can also charity shop. You could look at selling them on the various selling platforms, because you've got Facebook, you've got eBay, you've got, Spock. There's so many different selling platforms now. Or you can upcycle them into something else, or pass them on to friends, or if it's kids stuff, pass them on to friends' kids. Or there's a lady who I actually had speaking in my group the other day, and she upcycles clothes, and she makes things like school sweatshirts that are left over that they've not sold through the school fair.
Mm.
She takes them home and repurposes them into a shoulder bag.
Wow.
And they've got beautiful designs on them, absolutely incredible. Knitted jumpers she makes into sleeve warmers,
Oh yeah.
and she just sews all different colours together to make each
Fantastic.
one unique.
So it's not only just like potentially getting rid of things, but getting your creative side
Yeah,
really, really going as
yeah.
well.
And I think decluttering and being creative, or even if you think you're not creative, you are.
Mhm.
And that is ever so good for your mental well-being. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
So on the side of the likes of the mental well-being, obviously, you know, the group that I run is all about emotional eating.
Yeah.
How does the clearing of the clutter kind of link in with that, would you say?
It links in because by having a clearer home, you can focus more on what you want to achieve. And my strap line, if you will, is clear home, clear head, clear heart. And by having a clear home or office or whichever environment you're in,
Mhm.
gives you that time, that focus to then start accepting things coming in, different ideas. You can focus on the different areas that you want to do, whether it be fitness, whether it be your diet, whether it be crafting, whatever it is. And then it opens your heart to additional creativity and acceptance of different things that may be in your control, or if they're not in your control, how you can adapt it so that you feel comfortable with it.
Mm.
And by doing it, it gives you a clearer vision of your future and how you want your future to look. Does that make sense?
Absolute sense.
Yeah.
Absolute sense. It's all about making more mental space with
Yeah.
the likes of getting rid of the physical clutter,
Yes.
which then
Yeah.
creates obviously the physical space as well.
Yeah. And you can increase productivity by up to 10%
Wow,
by being in a decluttered space.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Because obviously, if it's cluttered, you've got to kind of work around the
Yeah.
clutter.
And even though you may not be able to see it, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still every time you walk past that spare room door that you think, "Oh, I must do that." So it's always in your subconscious that it's another thing for you to do. And your mind then doesn't switch off at night either,
Mm.
because it's saying to you, you've not finished work because you've still got all that stuff to do.
Mm. I completely get that. Yeah, definitely. So, if someone was to come to you first time,
Mm-hmm.
um, what would you suggest that they did first and foremost?
I work slightly differently,
Okay.
and I tailor everything to each individual
Mm.
client, because what fits one will not fit another.
Yeah.
And especially because my business focuses on the mental well-being side of things,
Mhm.
one layer of approach doesn't work. So I would have a good chat with the client beforehand, make sure that, yeah, we feel comfortable with each other. So I tend to do that by video link at the moment, or phone. And, if we're happy, comfortable with each other, then I'll arrange to meet, and I find out what area of the home is really getting on top of them first. Because there's methods out there that say, right, okay, so for instance, you need to get all your products together in your home, whether it be bathroom, kitchen, everything, bring them all together from all over the house. That doesn't work for a lot of people because it's overwhelmed then. So say if it was the bedroom that they wanted help with, the first thing I would suggest is looking at the wardrobe.
Okay.
Because by doing that, and we do that in a certain way, I will then show you how to fold things, how to hang things, where to put things, and then that will free up more space for you then to put other things away. And I will use everyday things to use as containers, because not everybody's got lots and lots of money to have colour coordinated boxes. And that may be something that they'd want to do, which is fine. But you don't know what storage you need until you know what you've got.
True.
And to know what you've got, you need to pass on what you no longer need. And that way, it reduces the amount of storage space that you need. And I love shoe boxes. They serve so many purposes.
Yeah.
If you want, until you can afford or until you can get to the shops again to get the nice ones that you want, just cover them in some wallpaper. Or, you know, if you want the kids to put a drawing on them, or just leave them as the shoebox. You know, they can be used for so many different things, and they are more than adequate until you decide that you wish to swap.
Okay. One more last question for me before I go on to the ladies who have given me specific questions to ask. You mentioned folding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit intrigued by that. Is there a specific way that we should be folding things?
Yeah, I fold things in a certain way, and even your knickers.
Oh God.
So, yeah, there's certain things that are better folded, and certain things are better hung. I used to hang all my trousers. It took up so much space, and now they're folded.
Oh,
but they're not they don't crease.
Oh, okay.
So how they're folded, they don't generally crease. So yeah, it's more of like a roll fold in a way, and then you can see exactly what you've got in your drawer or your cupboard.
Sounds fantastic. That crikey, I'm gonna have to start folding my knickers now.
Once you start, you'll end up going
stopping.
around the house and just like, oh, I'll just do this drawer.
I can imagine. God,
and that's it, because it's not just decluttering and passing on the skills and the knowledge to empower you to go and make a difference in other parts of your house, you know, because I fully appreciate that, you know, some people will be able to get me in and do the whole house, but others won't. But I can do it online as well, which actually helps people with anxiety or people with OCD and people who don't like me or anybody touching their possessions, for instance. Or it can be done as accountability and motivation. And sometimes I've booked in with a client before and it's like, right, come on, we've got an hour. Right, turn your camera around, let me see what you're looking at. Let's do it together. You know, and we'll be talking about it and I'll be encouraging them and, you know, everything as we're going through it. And it really does work. And what I tend to do is I always tend to do a follow-up with the client as well and see how they're doing and whether they, you know, whether they've progressed any further or if they've kept everything as it is or what else they're struggling with.
And I bet the actual sense of achievement is huge.
Oh, the difference I see is, it's so heartwarming to me. I love it. And I'll go into a client's home very down, very shoulders either up here or right down here, going, you know, oh, it's a right mess. I'm just so embarrassed. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And I just go, stop. We're starting. This is the beginning of the journey. You know, it's nothing that I've not seen before. And then it's just talking and finding out what makes them tick and how they work. Because that way I then know how to deal with it.
Yeah. And with me, every client's different. So you've got to really get to know them.
Yes.
get to know how they tick.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So question number 1, how do you actually start when you think the amount of clutter feels overwhelming?
Overwhelm is a very underrated term. Because if you feel overwhelmed by something, it becomes pressure on you, and it becomes this massive cloud, and it's one that you want to start to disperse. So the fact that they've actually said that they feel overwhelmed by it is acknowledging that there is an issue that they want to solve. And there's different ways that you can do it, or that you can start. You can start depending on where it is and what it is. If you had, say, a mound of clutter here and then another mound here. So what you could do is get a plain duvet cover, curtain, whatever you've got, throw it over one side. It's still there, but it's not as in your face.
Yeah.
Because it's covered. So then you turn around, you concentrate on this side. If that is still too much, then you can even hold a loo roll like this. You know, I used to do it as binoculars at school. You know, hold it like that, and it gives you that tunnel vision. As long as you make sure you stand in the same spot again, so you tidy what you can see through that toilet roll, and that's that little bit. Go back to where you stood, look again, that's now clearer. So you've got that little bit of sense of achievement.
Yeah.
And as I said, how I started it, just 3 things.
Taking it step by step, just little things along the way.
Yes, yeah. But it is, yeah, a lot of clutter is overwhelming, and that's because of the effect that it has on your mental and physical being. Because inside us, we're all made up of different elements and different atoms and neurons and all of that. And inside, I mean, you'll know all about this because you're probably more than me, that it's very structured inside. And that is why we actually prefer things to be in a structured way.
Yeah.
But it just becomes very hard when that path has turned in another direction.
Yeah.
Oh, you're frozen.
Oh.
I don't know if you can still hear me.
I can still hear you, Janine. It's actually you frozen as well. Carry on, and hopefully we can...
Have we lost you?
No, I'm still here.
I think we might have lost Margaret. I think I might be on this on my own now.
I'm still here, Janine. Can you hear me?
So I hope that this has been useful.
Heck, what happened there?
You're back. All of a sudden, I was talking to myself.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What's
That's
happened
okay.
there. Hopefully, I've still got the actual recording of that, but I'll just carry on.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, we're still actually recording. Fantastic.
Okay.
Where did we get up to? Sorry.
We got up to about overwhelm, and we were talking about that your body prefers your life to be structured, and it's just when the overwhelm comes, it actually deviates that path.
Yeah.
Oh, she's frozen again. It must be that topic.
Hang on a second. I'll see if I can just stop my video.
No, can you hear me, Margaret?
I can hear you. Hang on.
I feel like one of those newspaper reporters now, or TV reporters.
I think my internet said it's slightly unstable, which is great.
I just carried on talking. I said it's obviously the little subject of overwhelm that that it didn't want us to actually talk about.
No problem. I think this might be the last question. How do you actually keep it tidy once you've actually tidied up?
It's a lot easier. Once it's tidy, it's a whole lot easier. But saying that, it is constant, especially if you've got kids, because it's getting them involved as well. And explaining that you are all part of the household. You all take responsibility for being in the house. So you all take responsibility for doing little jobs in the house. And one way of doing it is to call them contributions rather than a job or a chore, because a chore is a negative word that you just think, oh, it's a right chore doing that. So it's the association with it. And then literally, the younger they are, the more you can work with them. But just keep, if you get something out, put it away before the next thing comes out. And especially with kids when they're playing with things, if you can do that to a certain element, that they don't get the next toy out until they've put the previous one away. And that makes it a lot easier, because the tendency is, for parents especially, is to just gather up all the toys at night and put them in the toy box. But then they can't find the toys, so everything goes back out the toy box the next day and doesn't go back in again. So you get into a vicious circle. So yeah, once you have done the declutter, you've got a lot less to actually keep tidy. And if you do the washing, try and get into a routine. So if you do the washing, say you put the washer on, if you have a timer on it, for instance, so you'd put the washer on at night time it to come on first thing in the morning, so you can actually get that washing on the rack or outside if it's fine, and that'll be dry for later on that night. And then if it just needs finishing off, it's a case of popping it on the radiators or whatever, pack it away that next night or that next morning. And once you get into that little routine, that really is more helpful as well.
I like the sound of that, and the sound of basically one toy out. It's just getting into that different habit, isn't it? And if they
same with adults as well, especially if they have crafts or hobbies that they're doing, it's getting into that. Say if you have loads of paintbrushes around, instead of getting them all out, you just get the one you need out, and then put it in another place, because then that will need washing. So rather than all being here, there and everywhere, have your little places for things. And again, it doesn't need to be expensive. You can rinse out a baked bean tin and that becomes a pencil pot holder. You can decorate it if you want, but it serves its purpose until you want to replace it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I hope that's been sort of some use.
Absolutely,
for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm going to start folding my knickers now. Janine, before we started recording, you mentioned a Clear the Clutter box that you were putting together.
Yes, because obviously with so many businesses have had to adapt, and I had to adapt virtually as soon as I started, that I've come up with the idea to have a declutter, calm the chaos gift box. And in that gift box, you would get certain items. You'd get a timer. You'd get a little set of quick task cards, so 5-10 minute tasks. And then you'd get some pure essential oil cleaner. And you would get samples in there as well. So you could have an energy boosting coffee before you started. You could then do your declutter. You can then sit down afterwards with a detox tea with a mindfulness card to actually have a look at an affirmation on there, whilst putting hand cream on. And there's a crystal in there as well, which is one that provides clarity.
That sounds fantastic.
I'm really, really, really excited about it.
Sounds fantastic.
So looking at being launched, hopefully towards the end of next week.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, then obviously they just need to drop me a message, and that will be great.
No problem. Well, I'll put your details. Obviously, when I've recorded this now, I'll upload it to the group. It'll be tomorrow morning that I'll upload it, and I'll definitely put your details in there for all the ladies to contact you.
That's great. Thank you very much.
No problem, Janine. Thank you so much for tonight. Sorry, it was a little bit glitchy, but we got there.
That's all right. It provides a little bit of entertainment partway through.
Thanks a lot, Janine, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.